Hi guys, today I wanted to take a look at part of an interview from the Financial Times with Sheryl Sandberg. Sandberg, as you may know, is the COO of the huge media platform tailored for the social justice crowd, Facebook, and she has made advising women part of her personal branding for as long as she's been running the show there. Before I get into the clip from the article, I have to give some full disclosure here. I only read part of the piece. The rest of it was hidden behind a paywall. Unwilling to cough up good money just to read the rest of Sandberg's advice, I settled for responding to what was in the lead-in. I think it was enough to work with, and if Sandberg had something worthwhile to say in the remainder of the piece, I trust that I will find out about it soon enough. That said, let's get going on what she had to say to women about choosing a man. And I quote from the article here. 4 years ago, Facebook's chief operating officer, Sheryl Sandberg, wrote a groundbreaking book calling for women to lean in to their careers. In a recent interview, she suggested that women should be doing the same with their relationships. When a Financial Times reporter asked Sandberg what she should be looking for in a relationship, the executive had a brilliant response. The guys who want an equal relationship, she said. Guys who want to support your career. You have a great career. Pressed by the reporter who was eager to know how to find these men who Sandberg called the good guys, the exec offered a simple but effective nugget of wisdom. Ask them. That's right. When you go on a date, be upfront and ask the person if he's one of these good guys who wants an equal relationship that will support you in your career. While this might seem a little too serious a question to ask on a casual first date, Sandberg recommends asking early and not being afraid of offending. If they're going to be offended by the answer, you don't want to date them anyway, she says. Here's a more in-depth excerpt from the interview. You can date whoever you want, but you should marry the nerds and the good guys, she advised. You've dated bad guys? Asked the reporter. A little bit, said Sandberg. I tell her, I being the reporter, that I'm 30 and unmarried. Who should I be looking for? The guys who want an equal relationship, guys who want to support your career. You have a great career, she said. Embracing the idea of Sandberg as agony aunt, I ask how you tell who the good guys are. You ask, and you ask early, and you are not afraid of offending. If they're going to be offended by the answer, you don't want to date them anyway, unquote. And that, dear audience, is as far as I could read for free, which is probably a good thing because there's so much totally bullshit failure in those first few lines that I would have ended up seeing another birthday go by if I had any more to work with. First was her answer about what guys to look for. It's the answer that the way too easy to impress reporter thought was brilliant. The guys who want an equal relationship, she said. Guys who want to support your career. Well, first, women don't want anything to do with men who want an equal relationship. And anyone advising women to seek out men who want real equality doesn't actually know much about women or men. If you don't think that's true, then watch how those oh-so-empowered career women act when they get margin called on the relationship expenses. See how long that brilliant Hollywood grill stays in a smile when you hand her the dinner check because you paid for the last one. Or when the couple gets a flat tire and the man says, you get the jack and I'll set out the flares and cones. I'm not faulting Sandberg terribly for this. She's doing what millions of brainwashed men and women have been doing for decades. She's talking out of her ass about a concept, that being equality, that people love to crow about without giving a real moment's thought about what it means. Sandberg is talking in slogans about something she really doesn't understand, and I'll be damned if she isn't downright cocky about it. If they're going to be offended by the answer, you don't want to date them anyway, she says, speaking of men who might be offended by the request for equality and support of their women's careers. Tell you what, Sheryl, try telling your little Sandberg groupies to tell men they are interested in that they want a man who believes in equality, that they want to pick up half the tab for all matters financial in the relationship. Tell them to tell men that they will fully reciprocate career support, that they will stand behind whatever he wants to do 100%, even if it means making less money. Tell those women to tell men that when it comes to the dirty work in life, the heavy lifting, that they insist on carrying half the load, that they can get dirty and sweat, that they can take cuts and bruises and spill a little blood for the sake of things that need to be done, or they can shell out the bucks for someone who will. Yeah, see how much luck you have getting women to suggest true equality in a relationship. See how much they want to lean in to that shit. Sandberg is as free as anyone else to advise women to look for shit in men that they really don't want. And women are free to go on their feckless, happy-go-lucky way, smiling like idiots about looking for something that they really don't want. But the truth is that Sandberg and the women who listen to her drivel are just playing the equality game. She is advising women on enjoying equality, but only when it works for them, the same way that feminists have been advising women for years. This is a very funny way to look at equality, looking for an egalitarian man who supports equality at least for women, but who also doubles as a housewife when it comes to her career. 2 + 2 = 5, if I ever saw it. I wish that was the strangest or even the most comical of what Sandberg had to offer, but if it was, I would not be doing this talk. Her next little bit of advice, coaxed into the light by the fangirl reporter, was a writing lesson on the cock carousel. Again from the interview, and I quote, "You can date whoever you want, but you should marry the nerds and the good guys," she advised. "You dated the bad guys, I ask?" "A little bit," said Sandberg. Okay, I don't think anyone reasonable would find fault with playing the field and sowing some wild oats before settling down, but that is not what is happening in this conversation. Sandberg is talking about dating one kind of man, essentially for sex, and marrying another kind of man, essentially for money. In other words, ride the cock carousel till you get tired, then grab yourself a beta cuck with a high-end job in Silicon Valley and use him to support whatever ambitions you have later in life. All that wrapped around a bullshit message from Sandberg about seeking a partner who values equality. Now, the good news here for Sandberg is that there's nothing really in her way to selling this message. Western women have been buying bullshit like this about relationships for ages. The message is really simple once you unwrap it from the decorative package it comes in. Most often that package is covered in language about intimacy, love, and romance that hides the true hypergamous intent behind the average woman's quest. Sandberg just did the same thing with something less romantic and more political. She is just selling women who want it all, a mythology that allows them to claim they are going for something wholesome and socially redeeming. And I have to hand it to her. She's done a decent job of spinning. She has taken how women go from hedonistic cock-gobbling to the quest for the corner office and made it look less shallow and superficial than it really is. She has made fucking one kind of man than using another for personal financial gain seem downright socially redeeming. And it's not like there aren't millions of men out there in both camps willing to do that bidding. No shortage of men willing to be horse number 37 on the cock carousel, and no shortage of men willing to pick up the check and the sloppy seconds once these women are ready to get serious about making lots of money. And that is it for another talk from An Ear for Men. I want to end this with a thank you to all the recent patrons who come to support me in my work on Patreon. I'm almost halfway to my goal of 300 supporters. With your support, I've been able to upgrade some of my video equipment. I bought a new Canon T6i and a better lens. I've also gotten a new Akaso EK7000. It's kind of like a GoPro, and I'm using it to gather footage for you to enjoy while my talks play. This will be of use while I continue to work on building out a new studio at the new house. As always, folks, I hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.